So the topic of our webinar today is recent updates in NimBus App. And our agenda includes dashboard, blocks of schedules, and also Locator. So I would like to remind you that NimBus is our public transportation app, which actually helps plan rides, execute rides, and control their execution. It also provides the dispatch services for passenger transportation. Okay, so I'm going to start with the dashboard. Last year, we actually added the interface for our NimBus, and the dashboard looks like this. The dashboard consists of stops, routes, rides, and elements in the format of blocks. And whenever you click on those blocks, there's a shortcut to that particular element. You can also see those elements on top, on the top panel. Here they are. So stops and pretty much all of the blocks provide the summary of information about that particular element. For example, stops, here we have total 28 stops. They are divided according to the mode of transportation. And they are buses, trolley buses, trams, route taxis, and one is unknown. Sometimes the stops can actually overlap. That's why we have 27 stops for buses and trolley buses. They're the same. We also have the information about the routes. The routes, for example, we see that 3 routes are created for bus, trolley bus, tram, and 1 for taxi. Each route has schedules, stops, and also units assigned to that. And I will show you later what I mean by that. We also have some information about the rides. And for example, we have 61 rides left for today. We also have the status of 3 active right now. There are rides that overlap. It means that there are more than 1 unit on that route particular executing that route. And there are 4 routes with no units assigned. The most important block is the online block. It shows you the status of the units on en route. For example, we see that there are 2 units ahead of schedule. 1 unit did not show on the stop. Again, those blocks, if you click on them, provide the shortcut to that particular element, and you can see the information with details about that block. Okay, so we see that some of the elements on the top panel were not mentioned here. And these are, for example, reports. So I'm going to talk more about the reports. The reports are greatly customizable. You can run the reports on the unit rights, on the route rights, and on the collection of the routes. You can customize the reports by clicking on the menu customizer, the 3 dots here. You can also download the reports. You can see different updates on the reports, different criteria that you want to run the report for, dates, schedules, etc., etc. We also have one very important feature here, which is the result of the ride unit, of the unit ride, sorry. So if it's fulfilled, it means that at least 1 stop was covered. If it's partially fulfilled, it means that more than 1 unit were actually engaged in that route, engaged in that ride. Something happened to the first unit, so the unit was changed to the other. And also, we have added this new feature quite recently. So now we can see the result of those rides on the map, showing what stops were skipped and what stops were visited by the unit. So now I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate you that. So this is how our NimBus looks. This is our demo account. So you click on the reports, and suppose that you want to write the unit rights for the bus. You want to run that report for the month of September, starting from the beginning till the up to date, and you click execute. And you see different criteria that we're running the report for. route, date, blocks, then schedules that the unit was assigned to, the beginning and end. And we see also the result. Some of the stops were not covered at all, and the result is no show. Some of the stops were fulfilled, and we see that only one stop was covered. So I want to see what stop was covered, was visited by my unit. I click on this unit, on this map, and I see that out of 4 stops, only 1 was covered. And this is stop number 3. 1, 2, and 4 were skipped by my bus. Probably there were no passengers or something happened. So now we are able to see what stops were skipped, and we can, run additional analysis based on that. Okay, going back to our presentation. So the next thing I want to talk about is, so that's the presentation on the unit C. That stop was skipped. The next thing I want to cover is the blocks. Blocks sound very, very vague. However, it's a very, very important feature that we added last year. A block is a chain of schedules which are executed successfully by one unit within the same route with the same number and type of transportation. That sounds like a lot, I know. Well, but in reality, blocks help us to plan a shift for one unit within the same route, under the same number, and using the same type of transportation, for example, bus. Blocks also help to report on the capacity of the units within the same route. So basically, whenever you are creating a block of schedules for that one unit, it helps you to calculate how many rides a unit can do within one block, within one schedule. Also, blocks show the unit's movement inbound and outbound. What it means is that you can actually see what direction the unit is moving, because routes are the same. However, there are inbound directions and outbound directions, so we want to see that. And now I'm going to show you how to create and assign schedules for one unit, how to create a block. So we go back to, NimBus, and we go for blocks. We see 2 routes here created. We have 11AA and 1200. Suppose I'm going to go for the 1200, and I want to create a new block. Click here. I name my block 1, 2, 3, 4. I choose the operation pattern, and I see the schedule assigned to that route. If we go back to the routes, again, each route has stops. For example, this one has 10 stops, schedules, times for that route to be executed every 10 minutes, and 2 units assigned to that route. Again, going back to the blocks. So suppose I want to create a block for this route, which is 1200. I click here, create a block. Again, I'm naming it, choosing the pattern, and then there are schedules assigned to that block, the ones that I just showed to you guys. So schedules are here. Of course, I don't want my unit to go round and round doing the same rounds of rides without any stops. I want to distribute the capacity, the workload for one unit, the number of rides that one unit can perform. So I choose, okay, I want my unit to ride from 9:15 to 9:20. I choose this. Then in the next hour, I want the unit to perform, like to have a ride at 10:25. So I choose in each hour, I choose blocks of schedules. So now I chose different time for the ride for that particular unit, and I'm saving it. And now I know that my guy will have a ride at 9:15. The next one is 9:25 after he accomplished this one, 11, etc., etc. So we actually are planning rides for that particular unit under the same route. So there might be different, like several units on this within the same route with the same number and type of transportations. So what we're doing here, we're creating a block of schedules for that particular unit, and the unit will actually execute the rides on the time that I assigned to him on the block. So that's how blocks work. Okay, so the next thing is a big one. The next thing is called Locator. So Locator is a link which opens up in a separate URL, and it is available for the third party, for people who do not have the access to our platform. And there might be passengers, parents of kids who are on the bus. So they want to see where the bus is and how much time is left before the next bus is coming. So Locator allows passengers to see the bus on the map in real time, shows the time of the arrival of the next bus, and also allows to see other routes in real time, routes that are closer to that bus. So let's practice creating Locator. Okay, so now that we have two routes, and we have one online, I want to see where the bus is. I go to the administration and I choose the correct resource. Before that, I need to decide if I want to show all the routes which are available during that time, or just one route. So I create the route groups. I created the route group for one particular route. So the passengers, whenever they receive the link, the Locator link, will be able to see only that route and buses on that route. Or I want to show also closer routes, other routes, which can be useful if something is wrong with the buses on this route. So I can create a group for that particular route, and I create the group for two routes, for example, as here. So this group includes only 11AA, and this group includes both of them. Okay, so now I go to Locator, and I create a link for all of them. I click here, plus, and then I create for all of them or for that particular group, which we already have. Let's create for all of them. Save. We created that link, and I already have that link created for just one group when the passengers want to see the location of the bus only for that route. Click on it. You need to zoom out, and here you go. This is our route consisting of stops, and this is our bus en route. So it's moving, and you can actually see that in real time. And you want to see how far the bus is from the stop you're in. For example, this stop, Dade at Michigan. You click search, and you can search for stops, and you can also search for routes. This is the only route that I have. Let's search for stops first. I want to go to Dade at Michigan. I choose this, and I see that, oh, the bus is already here, so I need to hurry up. Oh, for some reason it skipped my stop. So it arrived 1 minute before, and then it skipped. So the next bus is coming is in 11 minutes. Okay, so it's going down, it's en route right now, so I need to wait for 11 minutes for the next bus. I can also do that using the route information. And here's the route with all of the stops. and I can see, for example, the skipped one, and I couldn't make it at I couldn't make it to the bus, so I can see the nearest locations to me when the next bus is coming. Okay, so this is all for our presentation. Please